Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about XinFin Network, aka XDC. So with that being said, let's just dive in and let's start off with the fact that as the market seemed to have imploded the last couple of days, we have seemed to bounce back a little bit. XDC has actually performed fairly well within the market. Not saying that we can't go lower here. I'm just saying that so far it has taken that hit and it is looking pretty good still. I am expecting us to get a retest of roughly around the 3 cent to possibly 2.5 cent zone. If we do get that retest, that will be a great area to average in a little bit more. Me personally, I'm treating XDC like I've treated Casper, for an example. Casper, I was buying anything under 4 cents. I'm the same with XDC right now. I'm buying anything under 4 cents, which means the level that we are at today, I'm still averaging in. And I believe that XDC is going to be a major player in this space. I've talked about it many times in the past. Currently speaking, fully diluted market cap of sitting at like roughly almost $1.3 billion. Market cap itself, $472 million. You just can't go wrong with these utility tokens that are under $1 billion market cap. And I understand it fully diluted sitting at 1.3, but that's still very undervalued to me. So let's talk about a few things. Let's dive in and let's start off with the fact that I can't believe XDC is this overlooked when we have articles like this that have talked about trade finance. So here is a tweet that I posted on May 31st. Barely anyone seen this tweet, has 12 likes, 3 retweets, and I even said, here is a quote from an older document by the World Bank noting DLT adoption. So in this video, I really want to home on why you should be looking at XDC. I said, this is why I love watching XDC be overlooked by so many while I accumulate the trends. DLT applications will likely begin in areas without many legacy investments in automation, such as trade finance and syndicated loans in the financial sector. There is no question that the future is digital and it all has to start, somewhere. XinFin is a key player in this evolution, and trade finance is a must focus on industry. And here you guys have that quote. And yes, like as we look at DLT and as we look at the overall idea of integrating DLT into our systems, it's going to begin in areas like trade finance. And the only major player around trade finance within crypto is XDC. For an example, here we have from Crypto Nerd D. He posted this interview with Ritesh Kakad from XinFin. I hope that I'm saying that name right. I'm probably not. But we do see XDC in a few years down the line, we will be the only leader when it comes to trade finance. Listen closely to this.
The XDC network in international trade and finance right now. Do you have any use cases for this yet?
Yeah, so if you see, we are very grounded people and we are with the industry. So even if you are meeting like trade finance department from the largest bank, they will speak about XDC network. Okay. And there are multiple use cases, especially we are focusing on the real world asset tokenization. It can be, as I mentioned, it can be invoice tokenization. It can be like payment obligation tokenization. And if like you are meeting people and if you are talking in trade finance about the blockchain, most of the people, they are talking to us, they are building on us. And a few years down the line, we will be only the leader when it comes to a trade finance.
The XDC network in.
So yeah, I do believe that XinFin will be the leader around trade finance. And the reason for this is that they're already, and they were the first blockchain company to join the ITFA. Now, I've talked about it. I've talked about the ITFA and I've talked about this announcement many times. The significance around this announcement itself isn't so much that, hey, they're the first blockchain company to join them. It's also the fact that they're joining the ITFA, well, I should say the TFDI, which is a global initiative. And this is an entire initiative centered out on the innovation of trade finance through digitization and tokenization and automation services. And what's crazy about this is that this is the future of trade finance itself. It's already beginning. This is starting. And remember, from that document, this is from the World Bank, it's going to happen in areas such as trade finance and syndicated loans. It's already starting now. DLT is a huge area of focus. Whether or not, you want to get caught up in the idea that, we have mainstream media telling you that crypto's a scam, crypto's this, crypto's that. There's big innovations happening within crypto right now, and it is shaping the future of a lot of these industries like trade finance. This is a $3 to $5 trillion gap that needs to be filled. XinFin starting to actually be the one to do this with the likes of Trade Tech, Trade Phoenix, you name it. And also, it's a $19 trillion asset class. What do you see down here? We welcome XinFin's XDC network to TFDI, as this enables us to bridge the US $19 trillion trade finance asset class with any type of funder through tokenization and digital assets. Now, the membership on ITFA, which a lot of people also overlook, is extremely vast. Go look at it. Look at all the banks. Look at all these major banks. These are all the banks tied to the ITFA and also brokers. Check this out. So let me scroll all the way back up because I know that this kind of messes up a little bit. There's only one broker on here. But then when you look at all of the other players tied to this, they're very, very large. Ton of fintech companies tied to this. As you guys do see as I scroll down, R3's on here, which I just made a video recently talking about XinFin with R3 and how they are working together, especially even with Swift. Yes, that's true. A lot of things to look into. Here you have insurance companies, you have insurance brokers, law firms, non-bank financial institutions as well. I mean, guys, the list goes on, and this is such a vast majority of the global players around banking, trade finance, finance itself. I mean, these are the leaders. I mean, look at all of these banks. They are very, very large when you actually look into their finances. I mean, you have banks like BNY Mellon, for an example, BNB Paribas, Citibank. I mean, they are very large names here. So do not overlook trade finance at all, especially with XinFin. And also over here, from Utility Theory, I think that this is the best advice that you could get around the space. And I'm not saying financial advice, I'm just saying advice in general. But you see, just a reminder, we are still in pre-revolution stages to DLT revolutionizing the global supply chain. Forget about meme coins and start researching paperless trade or utility tokens. And yes, I think that everyone should be looking into paperless trade because this is a big deal, right? Utility tokens are reshaping the world of a lot of these industries like trade finance. I have left a lot of breadcrumbs to what I think is transforming the world of global trade to help other citizens see the fourth industrial revolution. And the fourth industrial revolution is no joke. It's happening. And it's through names like XinFin that are revolutionizing key areas that will also bleed into other industries. Trade finance is a huge asset class that touches a lot of other major industries. This is a big deal. And also over here, legal reform, current state of play. This is happening. MLETR. I've talked about MLETR many times in the past. This is the snowball effect of digital trade. This is from the Trade Finance Global website. This is talking about how this is a revolutionary solution that aims to transform the trade finance industry by providing an open framework for digitizing trade documentation. This is happening already. What's crazy about this is that a lot of people don't look into MLETR at all. But when we look into this, so first off, to date, 7 countries have legal systems aligned to MLETR, the largest of which is Singapore. The G7 are all expected to have aligned legal systems by 2024-2025, starting with the UK, Germany, and the US in 2023. That means that the US, the UK, and Germany are all going to be ready in 2023. They will have legal reforms around MLETR. Wild. And France in 2024. Thailand is also expected to be aligned by 2024. The Asia Development Bank is assisting China, Georgia, and Vietnam, who are all expected to be aligned by 2025 with more multilateral development bank assistance programs for low to middle income countries in the pipeline. This is a big deal. MLETR commitments are now incorporated into the WTO e-commerce agreement text, which is the World Trade Organization, due to be completed in 2024, and the UN Paperless Trade Initiative led by the UN Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific. The former includes 86 countries, and the latter 54 countries. Asian and the African Union are both actively scoping out how to incorporate MLETR into regional digital economy frameworks. This is happening now. Trade digitization is becoming a big deal, and it's going to be most likely the first area of interest where DLT reaches major scale. We do see realizing the benefits of legal reform is all about reaching scale. The more countries that enable trade digitization, the more companies and economies that will benefit. This is a big deal. Again, all of these major names, all these major countries, they're all tied to the ITFA. And it's like, this is something that I've said so many times in the past, where we look at these assets like XDC, where people just don't care, right? They don't care about trade finance. They think that trade finance is like this, that, whatever. They don't care about it. Oh, it's not cross-border payments. It's not $100 trillion market, blah, blah, blah. But this is the first market that will most likely be the one to set up the domino effect around DLT being, incorporated into infrastructures. I'm saying, like, when I say that I'm so bullish on XinFin, it's because I believe that it is one of the chosen ones. I believe it's right on par with XRP and XLM. In fact, I actually think that XDC might become a major player in this market to the point where it becomes a top 10 or a top 5 asset, because it's already beginning. We're seeing legal reform, being incorporated. We're seeing trade finance becoming a major focus point, especially from a lot of the giants out there, because guess what? It's a big area, and it's a big problem area too. There's a lot of problems tied to trade finance. Digitizing and tokenizing trade finance will ultimately unlock a lot of possibilities and get rid of a lot of those inefficiencies that are tied to these markets. I've said it many times around cross-border payments. There's a lot of problems that plague the cross-border payment market, and guess what? There's a lot of solutions within crypto. XRP being one of them. XLM is also, playing a big role there. HBAR too. I mean, when we look at a lot of these markets, they're ripe for disruption. But when we look at trade finance, XinFin has been focused on this for so long. And they're one of a few blockchain companies here. And a lot of the other blockchain companies here, like the private initiatives like R3, for an example, they're already working with them. So in my opinion, going forward on, and trust me, this is going to be a collaborative, effort. It's not going to happen, overnight. It's not going to be just one player. When this happens, right, and this collaboration that's happening as well, it is going to be a big deal when it goes fully live. And last but not least, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about this as well. So here's the standards. They're talking about the ICC. They're also talking about standards toolkit for cross-border paperless trade itself. Down here is technology. New technology correctly implemented and governed can now, in principle, digitize uniqueness, property, and rivalrous exchange, and this without the major exchange or risk of unpermitted exposure or commercially or regulatorily sensitive data. But industry has shown itself to be reluctant to move quickly to adopt such technology. This is the technology that will digitize the entire trade finance industry. It's also, centered out on DLT, blockchain, you name it, right? There's a lot of major players tied to this. And again, that's why I say it's going to be a collaborative effort. And once this is, in full effect, I think that that's when utility around crypto will really shine, because then you could see the benefits of it. And XinFin's at the heart of this. XinFin, in my opinion, is the major player around trade finance. And, this quote has been stuck with me ever since I found it. And it really is, crucial to focus on these extremely overlooked projects like XDC at crucial times like these. Because, again, nobody cares about these projects until they are in the top 10, the top 20, the top 30, the top 40, the top 50. And by that point, there's still a lot of gains to be made, but not nearly enough because you weren't early enough. With XDC, I think the long-term path here is extremely bullish. I think that this could pull an XRP-like run. I mean, when you look at the all-time chart, this thing looks beautiful. I think that as we look at a lot of these projects like XDC, it's not a bad thing to start accumulating these trends. You know, I was accumulating all throughout the summer of 2022 into, you know, even December. And so far, this has done very well. I think that long term, you know, we will see that 20 cent zone. I think that we will see much higher than that 20 cent zone too. Like long term, I'm looking into the dollar ranges of XDC. In the short term, yeah, I still think that, you know, 80 cents could be a possibility. $1 could be a possibility. And I know that a lot of people are going to say 80 cents to $1. What are you talking about? Like, that's just like the main areas of interest that I have around XDC. That's the conservative range. If it does pull an XRP, yeah, then we're looking at a lot higher. But we need a lot more, you know, hype. And a lot of these projects like XDC are not built on hype. They're built on fundamentals. They're built on utility. They're built on things actually happening here, which again is why a lot of people, in my opinion, are overlooking XDC. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day or beautiful night. If you guys are on this before, this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.